Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to a brand new video here today and the return of the F1 career mode once again. And it has been a couple of days, but I've had a few issues and we're now back on the wagon as usual. And today we are here for round 2 of the season for the Bahrain Grand Prix. If you guys missed round 1 at Australia, which by the way, you absolutely smashed the support on, guys, so I greatly appreciate all the love on that video. You can go check out the episode, guys, by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of the screen if you have missed it. But today we are here at Bahrain. You can see on screen there is no rain expected this weekend. Also, we have a flurry of upgrades on the car this weekend. I believe we have, I think, about 7 or 6 aerodynamic upgrades and also another 7 or 6 upgrades on the durability. So a good spread of upgrades, and they've all arrived on the car this weekend, and we used all of our points after the last race, so we're now down to 139 R&D points. And in terms of what that means for the R&D graph, you can see for this race nobody has brought any upgrades except for us, as we close the gap to McLaren and Ferrari at the top of the table. So it's very much a top 3, and then the rest of the teams below them at the minute. So you can see Red Bull in 4th, they're going to be pushing hopefully soon to try and close the gap. So we need to try and, you know, benefit from that and try and pull away while we can. But with that being said, we're now going to jump into the first session of the weekend. That is qualifying. Of course, I do practice, you know, off stream, and yeah, we're going to be jumping into things here this weekend. And you can see on screen, of course, night light conditions this weekend here at Bahrain, and everyone getting ready for the qualifying session. And it's going to be interesting because Bahrain, of course, as you guys all know by now, is a very strong track for the AI. So it's going to be a challenge, and we're going to have our work cut out in terms of trying to compete here today and trying to be competitive. So I think for me personally, you know, if we can get a top 10, that'd be a good qualifying. In the first one at Australia, we only got P16 in qualifying. So we need to try and improve upon that and do better than the first race. So hopefully we can do that here today. There is Nico Hulkenberg in his Alfa Romeo at the moment, and there is the Red Bull, I believe, of George Russell. And yeah, let's get into qualifying and let's see how we go in this session as we kick things off with our first of 3 qualifying laps. And in this session, my best lap was my second run, so we'll run aboard that in a moment's time. First of all, though, let's focus on the first lap. Currently, as you can see, going towards the end of the lap and into the final corner, and it's all about just trying to make sure the lap is good. And to be fair, this was actually one of my best ever first opening laps. As we opened up the RS, I was very happy with it. Not many mistakes, and we go P2, 4/10 off Lewis Hamilton's time, who's currently in pole in the Ferrari. But now we're going to move on to my second run, and this was my best lap of the session. So let's run on board for a full lap of the Bahrain circuit. Not absolutely perfect, but still a pretty good lap nonetheless. Here we go up to the line, opening up the DRS, and we're going to improve by about a 1/10.5, and we do jump up the P6, 2.5 tenths off Lewis Hamilton's time. So it's all looking very close in the top half of the table as we now cut on to our final lap. And you can see on the Delta, it was very close. The whole lap, we was kind of half a tenth down. And the reason was I made a mistake at turn 1. I ran it a bit hot on the brakes, and eventually I backed off because I wasn't going to improve. So I went to the pit lane and saved the tyres a little bit just in case we need them for the race. But here is your grid then for the race at Bahrain, with Kvyat P1, Hamilton P2, making an all Ferrari front row on the grid here today. Sergio Perez P3 ahead of Carlos Sainz in P4. So those guys doing a good job in qualifying, and good to see my teammate Perez up in 3rd place. Hopefully he can try and get some points on the board here today after not doing any in Australia. Behind them though, we have Verstappen in P5, Leclerc in 6th, and then it's George Russell behind his teammate in 7th place, and then we're on the 4th row alongside of Russell there in the 2nd racing point. So a pretty decent qualifying in the end, to be fair. We did get pushed down a little bit further, but still, it looks like we've got a good pace. And, you know, I said I wanted a top 10, and that's exactly what we got. So I can't complain about that as we now move further down the grid, and we have Bottas in P9 for the second McLaren, with Sebastian Vettel rounding up the top 10. The man who, of course, was on the podium in the first race in Australia. Lando Norris, P11. Great result from him in the Williams. Pierre Gasly, P12 in the second Mercedes, and that is row number 6. We then move on to row number 7, and we have Nico Hulkenberg in the first of the Alfa Romeos ahead of Alexander Albon in the second Haas. And then behind them we have Kimi Raikkonen in the second Alfa Romeo ahead of Lance Stroll in the second Williams. So to be fair, both Williams cars going pretty well around here and showing some pretty decent pace. Even Lance Stroll is not actually on the last 2 rows, which is quite rare for him. But we then move on to the final part of the grid, and we have Kevin Magnussen P11 ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi. So both of the Renaults were pretty poor qualifying, and then Ricciardo and Grosjean in the Toro Rossos at the back of the grid. Of course, those guys struggling for pace majorly in this crewman. But that is your grid, guys. We're now going to move into the race for round 2 of the season for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's get this underway. Right, here we are then on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix, starting from 8th place on the grid, row number 4, alongside George Russell. And like I mentioned before, a pretty good qualifying. I'm really happy with it, to be fair, and better than I expected. The target for the race for me, I think, is a top 5 finish. If I could get a top 5, I wouldn't complain. That would be a good result and a good points haul for us once again. In terms of the race strategy that we're here today, the game recommends a soft to hard tyre strategy. No rain expected, so we're going to, in principle, go for that, I think. That's going to be the best option. The one-stopper around here is much quicker than the 2-stopper, so we're going to try and go for that one-stop strategy, but we'll see how it pans out. You never know, things could change on the fly. There could be a safety car or a VSC, you never know. So either way, we'll kind of judge it on a lap by lap basis. But we're now going to get racing here for round number 2 of the season for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Right then, let's see how we get on here for the start of the race as we build up the revs to the sweet spot. Lights are on and they are out, and away we go. Not a bad start, to be fair. Pretty good getaway from us. Better than it was in Australia on the medium tyres, of course. As we go to turn 1, we're going to just try and defend the inside line. Russell in front. We've got Bottas on the outside here trying to go for a move. We're going to just go the long way round and try and carry the momentum to stay in front of the McLaren as we go up to turn 4. Cautious on the brakes down the inside of Russell into the apex. Bit of contact halfway through there. Russell tried to turn in and stop me from going through, but we do make the move as we progress up into P7. Charles Leclerc up next in the Haas. Let's see if we can get past him straight away. The Ferrari's already starting to pull away out front, as I believe Kvyat's still in the lead. Is starting to put some daylight between himself and his teammate. Sergio Perez down to P4. Our teammate, he started P3, so he's lost the place off the line, which is unfortunate. Hopefully he can try and get that back soon. But now let's focus on getting past Leclerc in the Haas if possible. At the moment, similar to Australia, the pace is very good from most cars, to be honest. Everyone's fairly spread out, so not much is really happening. To be fair, I'm just dropping off from Leclerc a little bit on the second half of this lap as Russell behind closes in, but we should still be okay. DRS will not be enabled though, so we've got to try and close in if we can on the Haas driver. Russell's battling behind with Bottas, which is allowing me to pull away. That was a better lap from us into the low 27s as Verstappen tries to get a move. Or should I say Leclerc, sorry, gets a move on Verstappen actually. I thought it was the other way around, but I made a mistake. Looks like Perez is also dicing away with Sainz, and I want to say Hamilton for P2. So a couple of battles happening, you know, across the track. We're currently by ourselves here in the middle of nowhere, so that's good news in terms of doing our own race, trying to keep our tyres and keep our fuel and all that stuff. So hopefully we'll come into the race a little bit later and have a chance to do stuff, you know, make things happen. Can't quite get within the DRS range, but the guys in front are starting to lose time battling as we match our personal best for a second lap now. We've definitively pulled away from the guys behind, so that's good news. Let's see if we can try and get within DRS of Verstappen here and try and put some pressure on him. There we go, we've got DRS, we've made it, which is good. That's going to help us out a lot in terms of closing the gap to the cars in front as we set a new personal best. 3 laps in a row now, very consistent pace in that region. As the tyres are starting to go a little bit as well, so we've got to bear that in mind as Perez there battling with Sainz. And speaking of the devil, Sainz with issues, that's going to cause a lot of trouble and a bit of a ripple effect moving backwards. So a lot of cars are going to have to try and get by here. That's going to give Lewis in the Ferrari a chance to pull away as we get sideways. Perez battling with Sainz through the S's. That's not the place to really pass him, but he's gone for it and he's done it. Leclerc down the inside of Sainz, who of course is struggling. We're going to get a nice run here. I'm just going to wait. I've got to be patient and look for the right opportunity, which could be now down the inside of Verstappen. We're going to try and be sneaky here. and make an overtake. Bit of contact there with Max as we're both fighting for the same part of the slipstream. Sainz goes defensive though. We're going to go 3 wide into the final corners. It's going to be awkward, but we're going to try and navigate it, and we do successfully pull off the move. So there we go. Double overtake, 2 for 1. We don't get DRS for some reason.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
But we are now up to P5, which is great. So this is where I want to finish the race, but I know I'm faster than Leclerc, so we can definitely get a top 4 in this race if we keep this going. So head down and we'll keep pushing. Okay, Hamilton pits from P2. First car to pit, couldn't make his tyres last. That could be a 2-stop strategy actually from him, so suddenly we may have a chance of a podium, which is very exciting. If we can get 2 podiums in a row, that would be great, especially if we can make it a double podium for the team for both Racing Point cars. So right now Perez is in a net P2 if Hamilton's going to for a 2-stopper. So let's try and close in on the Monegasque driver. He's having a great race so far, I've got to say. Leclerc doing a fantastic job so far. Right, Leclerc pits, looks like Verstappen as well, and Fiat.
Box. We're coming in this lap.
We're going to pit this lap. Bottas stays out behind us as well. So we were going to be pitting this lap. Looks like Perez will be going for at least 2 more. So strong in lap from us. Let's try and push. Right, we're going to pit this lap. We've got Bottas behind us. He's trying to get some DRS and try and close in. It's been a good in lap from us. We've matched our personal best. So that's exactly what we need. Now into the pit lane we're going to push. Now we turn the engine down. Get it also down to 80, and there we go. That's a perfect entry. Bottas in behind us, so we are going to have a pit stop battle on our hands. Hopefully the Racing Point lads are well practiced, because Bottas is going to have the benefit of pitting behind us, which could be risky. Here we go.
Go. You'll be racing on the exit.
It's a great stop. 2 seconds dead on. 0-0-0. Absolutely perfect. Looks like a lot of the leaders actually caught up in traffic there. There's a bit of a train in front up the road.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
There's Verstappen, so he's managed to pull off an undercut, but he's on the soft tyres, so Verstappen potentially going for a 2-stop strategy. Interesting. Bottas also on soft tyres behind us. We're going to the finish on these. It's going to be a long stint, and we might be a bit marginal for tyre wear, but again, I'm trusting the team's strategy here, so hopefully we can make it work.
Sergio is in for his stop.
Yep, Perez is pit. Hopefully he's going for the same strategy as us, because if he is, then we both may have a chance to actually win this race now due to strategy. I'm going to let Bottas go behind me. I'm not going to fight him. He's much quicker on those tyres. Of course, he's on the soft tyres. And McLaren is the second quickest car on the grid. So there's no point fighting a losing battle as we move up to P16. But there is a massive train of cars in front in which Fiat, Hamilton, all these guys have been caught up in that. So they're going to be using their soft tyres up and potentially wasting them stuck in traffic. So we are going to get a really nice benefit of, you know, we're going to really be able to use these tyres later on in the race, because they're going to use up all their soft tyres and pretty much they're going to go to waste, really. So that's good news. Perez has rejoined up the road. He looks like he's battling with Verstappen. Hopefully he's on the hard tyre, I really do, because if he is, we've both got a chance of winning this race. I couldn't quite catch his tyre there on the crossover, but we'll maybe get a glimpse of it when we get a bit closer later on. But yeah, it's looking good now. Strategy looks fantastic due to the traffic. All we've got to do is hope that the Ferraris are not that fast on the medium tyres later on in the Grand Prix, and we might be okay. Bottas fastest lap. Goes to show the pace of the McLaren. You know, it's genuine. They're really fast this season. Oh, Toro Rosso's gone off. That's Grosjean. I think he may have retired, or no, he just made a mistake. He locked up and ran wide, so that's going to give us a position for free. And also give Bottas a position as well. That means we lose no time battling in that Toro Rosso, which is great. Russell's starting to catch us up as well behind us. I'm going to try and keep him behind as long as I can. Hopefully there'll be a crossover point where the soft tyres just start to fade, and we'll start to get the benefit on these. We've just got to try and keep going, really, get the car light and try and burn that fuel off a little bit. And we should hit a crossover point in about 5 or 6 laps. This train of cars in front is absolutely crazy how long it is. It just goes on forever, as some of them do start to pit now on lap 13. Of course, they're going to go for the one stop. That is in regards to signs, as we now move up to P11 due to cars pitting, which means that the train in front is going to start just opening up a bit more now. But the good thing is, you know, the guys in front on soft tyres have lost their benefit and their edge on those tyres now. You know, it's been enough laps. They would have lost the benefit of those now, which is good. Oh my god, it's all kicking off in front. It's a slow car, and everyone's just jostling for position. Looks like Perez is going to be the one who gets in front and hits the front of the pack. More cars are going to pit. Got a Renault in the pit lane there, peeling off. No DRS, but we are on the slipstream, which is good. Here comes Russell, though, behind us. He's going to look for it, but he's not close enough. Due to the slipstream, we stay in front. Perez now being overtaken by Leclerc, but he manages to stay in front. Actually, that might be Albon, not quite sure. Either way, we now have DRS, which is great. So we're now right back in this battle. That's what I'm saying about the soft tyres. You just lose those once you hit traffic. Looks like the Haas in front is Albon. He's on the hard tyre, so he started that race on those. And now everyone's losing a chunk of time. Perez pulls away, which is great, so he's going to start opening up a gap. I thought about a move on Bottas there, but we'll hang back for now. Possible switch back here on the McLaren. This isn't a frequent overtaking opportunity, so we'll just back off. But again, it's all about just putting they under pressure, making them waste their better tyres. We've got Verstappen just in front of him, which is also great. Speaking of whom, he makes the move on Albon quite easily. Let's see if we can follow through. Wow, the Albon's really slow. He must have wing damage. Bottas is struggling. We're going to have a look here. Down the inside, exact same move as we did on Verstappen earlier on in the race. But we get it done this time. Give Bottas a bit of a squeeze. We're going to try and get past the Haas. It means we are going to miss out on DRS on the pit straight. But it means we get the move done and we progress further forward. Right, there we go. P6 now. Anyone else in the pit lane? Looks like there isn't no one for now. But we have got a gap to the cars behind, so it's looking good. Oh, Nico Hülkenberg out of the race in the Alfa Romeo. First retirement of the Grand Prix here today. Bottas now closing back onto the back of us once again. Also, soft tyres are still the faster tyre, but he won't be as fast as last time. I might just put up a fight this time. We'll see. Although, to be fair, look at the straight line speed in that car. Bottas is quick, but we do stay in front for now. Here comes Valtteri now with DRS as Leclerc pits for the second time. Also Ferrari there as well. Is that that's Kvyat in the pit lane. Bottas goes by, that's okay. We're doing our own race. But Kvyat was the net race leader and we're now into a net race lead. If Perez has those hard tyres fitted, like myself, he's on for a race win. He'll be the race leader. And I'm more than happy to help him hold up Kvyat, who's behind us. Right, Bottas is going to start for one more, so we will get DRS. And that's going to keep us ahead of Russell, hopefully. It's going to be close, but I think we've got enough speed to just stay in front of the Red Bull driver. Yes, we do. Bottas is DRS, just helping us out there massively. And I believe Hamilton's still staying out in the other Ferrari for now. So he's yet to pit. Bottas pits. Will Russell pit as well? Yes, he will. And so does Hamilton. So there we go. Perez is on the hard tyre. So at the minute, it is a 1-2 for Racing Point. A net 1-2. But we do have Kvyat now right behind us on those fresh medium tyres. So I'm going to try and do my best to hold him up as long as I can. And hopefully that will buy Perez enough time that he can try and pull away. So yeah, the target now is to keep Kvyat behind. At the minute, it's a 1-2 for the Pink Panthers. Alright, Kvyat is on my gearbox here. We're going to have to defend. As we move to the inside, we're going to let him take the outside, but he's got a lot of speed in that Ferrari. Look at that, he's well past even before turn 1. Which is unfortunate. Can we stay close and through here, maybe get him back possibly? Looks like we may have a chance, although Kvyat does get some great acceleration. We're pulling him back though with DRS. We make him go defensive a little bit, but I think he's through already. Medium tyres are strong. Hamilton's the next car, but he's a long way behind, so it's looking good for that double podium. Knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens. I want to try and keep up with Kvyat if I can. Use the DRS to try and stick with him. Kvyat fastest lap, he's absolutely flying. 25.8. I think he's on target to win this race, unfortunately. Nice, Perez has something up his sleeve. Hamilton responds with a fast lap of his own, so the Ferraris are really pushing here. Looks like we could still be knocked off the podium at this rate. I'm at the max, to be honest with you. Pace is as good as it's going to get with the low 27. Hamilton is chipping away at the gap. And is going down about a second, 0.3 per lap, give or take. So I think he will arrive. I think he has got enough laps. I'm kind of relying on those medium tyres fading towards the very end of the race, to be honest. I want to push more and use up all my ERS, but I know Hamilton's going to arrive, so I want to try and keep some in the reserve for when he does eventually arrive so we can battle him with it. My pace is improving a little bit as Kvyat takes the lead of the race. He's just got past Perez now for P1. And Hamilton is fast approaching. 2.8 is the gap with 4 laps to go. Hamilton new fastest lap, 25.5. He's pushing. He's putting the squeeze on. I haven't got much more left in the tank now, unfortunately, so he's going to have DRS on us by the end of the lap. Good news is, at worst, we'll finish P4. So we'll only lose one more place if Hamilton does get by it. I thought it would be a little bit easier than this, but it feels inevitable. I think Lewis is so much quicker than me. He is running at max power, I can tell on the straights, because he's so fast, like Kvyat was. We'll just be able to stand in front for here, but I don't really have much fuel to really work with. Only ERS at the final corner. Here comes Lewis, he's already alongside us here. It's going to be difficult to try and get this one back, I think. I'm going to try and tuck it to the slipstream a little bit. Let's see if I can get anything out of turn 1 and 2 maybe. Try my best, but Hamilton has too much grip. Don't have any rich mix. We'll get DRS. We'll put under some pressure into turn 4. Exact same carbon copy as the Kvyat overtake, but again, Hamilton gets it done. Not much we could do, unfortunately. Looks like we're going to have to set off a P4 in this race, unless Hamilton has some kind of issue, or makes a mistake, possibly. Well, here we go then, towards the end of the lap. Ferrari look like the force to beat this season. They look very strong, of course. We know they're maxed out because I protected all of their upgrades last season, so they're going to be very tough to beat. But we did a good job today. We tried to give them a challenge. Perez, in the end, does manage to split the Ferraris and get P2, as Kvyat gets the fastest lap across the line. Will Hamilton beat it? Let's find out. But we're going to come through for a 4th place and a 2-4 for us. That's good points and a good podium for Perez, his first one of the season. And there we go, across the line, job done. We'll take that.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you pulled through. Thank you.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, there we have it then. The results are in, and Daniel Kvyat does pick up the race win here today ahead of our teammate Sergio Perez. Hamilton edges out Kvyat for the fastest lap by 0.05 of a second. Really, really close. Those two seem very, very similar for pace, which is going to be an exciting battle all the way through the season. And we come home P4, just missing out on the podium in the end. Charles Leclerc, 5th for Haas. Great result from him ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. Really strong race. P6 in the Alfa Romeo. Really, really good race from the Iceman. And, you know, he had a miserable season last year, so a big return to form from him here today ahead of Valtteri Bottas in P7. Lando scoring points in the Williams up in 8th place. Great result from him ahead of George Russell and Kevin Magnussen rounding off the top 10 here today from P17. That's a great finish for him in the Renault. Then we have Lance Stroll 11th, Sebastian Vettel 12th, along with Verstappen down in 13th, not scoring any points here today. So Verstappen struggling this season and actually got beat by Russell on track on the exact same strategy. Gasly 14th, Ricciardo 15th. Then we have Giovinazzi, Albon, Sainz and Grosjean running up the top 19 with Hulkenberg, the only retirement of the race here today. We then move into the Drivers' Championship and we're in 3rd place. Hamilton does overtake us, but we are equal on points. Kvyat with 50 out of 50 so far this season, and Perez with that podium jumps all the way up to 5th place with 18 points to his name and is equal on points with Sebastian Vettel. So it's very quickly becoming Ferrari versus Racing Point in the Drivers, and that's going to be the theme as we move over to the Constructors, as we take 2nd place away from Mercedes, but Ferrari already 32 points clear at the top of the table, and hopefully we can try and put on the upgrades soon. We're not going to do any for the next race because I don't have enough points, but hopefully for the Spanish Grand Prix maybe, or possibly Baku, we'll have some more upgrades on the car. But guys, that is going to be it from me here today at Bahrain for this episode of Career Mode. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it and also subscribe if you are new, and also click the bell icon guys to turn notifications on to not miss out on any content I may do on F1 or MotoGP or even F1 2020 game news. And also finally, check out the 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But that is it from me here today at Bahrain, and I'll see you all next time for round 3 at China.